modern day masculine man, take one.
What makes a modern day masculine man? When you drink your liquor straight, a modern day masculine man. I pay all the bills and I tells my woman the truth. Got my shit together, do what I wanna do, say what I wanna say. I won't bend, I won't break, you are not me and I am not you. I kept it real, so now I can do what I wanna do. Modern masculine man. Welcome to Man School.
Welcome to the Modern Masculine Man Podcast, Mitch. Woo! Hello. Welcome to another wonderful, beautiful Wednesday. And you are tuned in, tapped in, and turned on to the shoulders of the day. She got them shoulders out. Hit them with the shoulders.
Oh, you do the black. I had to get one.
Yeah. You already know what time it is. Y'all tuned in to Ranting and Raving Wednesday with my co-host, Carla, Nicole. And she has a beautiful topic for us tonight. One that I really think that people need to really focus on. Man, I want to go ahead and get into this topic because, you know, we ain't got a lot of time. But before we start, Miss Carla, how your week going?
Week is beautiful. Listen, I'm excited about the topic too. I don't know if you saw how Rant and Raving show over there on our channel is doing crazy over these videos. And that clip you did last week has been hilarious.
The clip you did, I just said it. You made it into a clip.
I did. But you don't know how funny that was. That was, listen, you're always a hoot. But that one was hilarious. I said, I'm about to clip this. So, yeah, it's doing well over there.
That's what's up.
Of course.
So the book is premiering this week, right?
Which one? You're talking about the book on She's Beside Herself?
She's Beside Herself.
Oh, yeah. Actually, She's Beside Herself is already hot and ready off the press. You can go and grab it now.
Oh, okay. I love the title. She's Beside Herself. It sounds like it's something that's going to go to movie one day.
Well, you know what's so crazy, Javon, is that we were told we were beside ourselves when we were little, but we didn't even know what that meant. We just knew if we did something that we weren't supposed to, we get the pop in the mouth, and get beside yourself was a common thing. So, yeah, you can get it on my audio. If you just don't want to read it, you just want to listen to me read it to you, you can go get the audio book. It's $33.33, or you can actually get the ebook for $22.22. So either way, you already know what it is.
Let me unhook my Bluetooth from this.
Okay.
Well, let's go ahead, Miss Carla. What you got for us tonight? What's the topic? What's the subject of the day?
You already know. And you were one of the main people I thought of, but I have been dealing with this with a client. One of my top clients, her and I have been working on her coaching plan to really break the soul freeze, to thaw out. It's not easy to thaw. You know, when you are dealing with unhealed wounds, just unhealed things in the heart and mind and soul. So my soul freeze test, and anyone that takes it knows it's a beast. You can find out a lot about yourself. Inside the soul freeze test, we can learn some major things about our takes on things. Well, because our viewers have been loving us talk about overthinking, I decided, well, since I've been dealing with this in coaching, let me go ahead and bring it to the show. So we are going to talk tonight about overthinking, the mental trap of family loyalty. So I used to call it bio loyalty, you know, where we just get so caught up in sharing DNA and we're family and all this, but yet it's not healthy. It's just
definitely not healthy. Definitely not healthy at all.
And it's so hard to break through this.
And considering that you don't choose no one in your family,
No.
considering you're just born into, that's what I have to let my family know sometime. I got a cousin that just think because we cousins, everything's supposed to be cousin love. And I'm like, yo, you do realize that your uncle had sex with a woman 7 years before I was born. And that's why we're cousins.
Right.
Your father, who is my uncle, had sex, a one night stand with a woman, and you were born. And then 7 years later, your aunt, who is my mother, had sex with my father in a one night stand. I was born.
Right.
Now, why does that tie us together so strong?
I don't know.
What that I didn't even ask to be born. You didn't ask to be born. Why does the fact that our mother and father are uncles, our sister and brother, and my father, your father's my uncle, and my mother's your aunt? How does that make me and you supposed to be that tight? Now, what it does is sets us up for a relationship to say, hey, cousin, we're cousins. Cool.
Right.
Now, where do we go from here? And
Right.
as we go from here,
Yes.
if it's not conducive to my life, then what the fuck is a cousin other than my uncle's son?
Well, and to bring us into the world that I've been trying to pull and draw people to see is that, hey, look, just because we're family does not mean that I should be accepting of any and everything because we are family.
Mm-hmm.
What that means is I call it the lion's den. So if a lion is my family, and I know for a fact I done went in here into this den several times. Sometimes I went in there and it just looked at me because it wasn't hungry that day. Or sometimes I went in there, petted, it was cool. But for the majority of my experiences with this lion, I continue to have, without a shadow of a doubt, that lion is going to maul me, bite me, treat me horribly. By the time I get in there and get comfortable, next thing I know, that lion's all on my back. I'm trying to hurry up and get out the cage, as a metaphorical way of understanding it. And like with my client, I was like, look, I understand you love family, but is your family loving you in return? So I had to let her understand, look, let me sit you down real quick. Let me explain to you what you're doing to yourself. Because they had this big bash getting ready to happen. And oh my goodness, and we're all going to be family and all this stuff. The nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have this big bang family reunion because the parents that aren't good, worth a damn, have been married 100,000 years. And we need to go over there and celebrate. Well, wait a minute. I'm sick. My client was physically sick to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, you're physically sick? She said, yes. I'm literally sick. And if I want to go because my child's going and my grands will be there, and I want to go to support. I kind of got a little bullied by one of my kids, like, oh mom, don't be a pussy and all this other stuff. But I think that I need to just not go. And I said, well, it ended up getting canceled. The higher
The higher power saved her.
saved me because I knew I was going to have to help pick all the pieces of her back together again when she got back from this madness.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So after we talked about it, I said, look, this is where self-loving gets real cute. I know it's not going to feel good, but sometimes everything we love doesn't love us in return. But because we want something so bad, we just go and go and go and fiend like a drug. We fiend for it. And they keep running, and we're trying to chase it. After a while, we need to stop and be like, well, what is it that they're providing me? And then when you start looking, you're like, after taking that drug, I'm noticing, oh, my heart isn't racing so bad. I'm feeling a little more life. Now I'm not feeling so sick. Now I'm able to see clearly. My awareness is opening up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are literally dying inside just to have this, 3 to 4 hours of misery? Because after everybody starts drinking, talking about old times and all of that stuff, guess what's going to happen? You're going to
Arguing.
get the good plate of food, yes. But are you going to be able to really enjoy it? No. Because Uncle such and such is going to talk about Aunt such and such and remember what you did. And next thing you know, when the drunken spells kick in and everybody gets comfortable and laxed and all that nostalgia you were hoping was going to be family is going to be madness. And now you're in the lion's den with not just the one that you know it is, but all their allies.
And it happens the same every year because it's the
Every year.
same unresolved issues. It's
Every
the same people with the same issues. I
yes.
remember when one of my uncles passed. And they say in our community we get together for when somebody die. You know what I'm saying? And one of my uncles passed, and I was very close to this uncle. Like my personality, people said, "Boy, you act just like your Uncle Junior." They actually called me Junior Plumber. You know what I'm saying? As a youngin' growing up, I didn't like it because he used to be a drunk. You know what I'm saying? But he was always funny. He was that guy that was. You ever know that there's a guy in the town that's like the mascot of the town? You don't realize how important he is until he died.
Of course, yes.
And then when he died, it was like his funeral was so big. People standing outside the church, and I looked around and I said, "Wow." I just didn't realize how many people love this man, and all he did was walked around drinking wine, talking shit. But he brought a certain something to the town.
Yes,
And it's like when he died, people used to say, "Hey man, Ridgeway ain't the same since your uncle died." And it was almost like when you wake up in the morning and get ready to start your day, it's a certain store everybody would go by and get a biscuit and a cup of coffee.
right.
And you're going to see him there. And he got some slick to say. So it's a situation where when he died, right?
Yeah.
My job was like, you can only take off work, get like, what is it? Bereavement.
Right.
Pay, I guess bereavement pay.
Yes,
if it's a grandmother or a mother, like or a grandfather, a father, or a mother.
Yes.
And I was like, why is that? And they was like, well, that's not a close relative. And I thought about the word. I spoke in my uncle's funeral and I brought that up. I said, my job said they wasn't going to pay me today to speak here to come to this funeral because he wasn't a close enough relative. And then you think about the word relative, relate.
Ooh, this is
so we are related. Yeah. We're related, so he's my relative.
Right.
But then you think about the word relative to say, what's relative? Like, does it apply? So it's like, although I was related to this man and he was not a close enough relative according to their standards,
right?
This man was closer to me than my father.
Right.
And they saying we're not gonna pay. I said, but this is my relative. I said, why wouldn't it be up to me to say, okay, this guy right here is like a father to me. Right. I want to use my bereavement for him, and I don't want to use it on my father.
Ooh.
The point I'm making is
that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. The point I'm making is everybody at the funeral understood what I was saying about relatives. Yes. We have some relatives that are just our relative.
Yes.
That mean they came out of somebody's vagina that's in our family. What do they do to you? Yes. What do they do for you? And I brought that up. I said, I came out of my father's sack, but my uncle is a closer relative to me.
Yes.
So I feel like no matter how we cut it, your relatives and who you close, you should be able to pick them like your friends. You shouldn't be held and tied to somebody just because that's your cousin.
Right.
That's your sister. That's your twin.
Right.
Like twins didn't ask to be in the same womb at the same time.
Right.
I know two brothers that's twins. We literally call them evil twin and good twin.
Oh, wow.
Okay. That's what we call them, evil twin and good twin. And we've been calling them evil twin and good twin since I can remember.
Wow.
And they can't stand each other.
Wow.
And they share the womb. They identical twins. And we call one evil twin and one good twin.
Well, you do realize there is a law of polarity. So in that womb, there was a law of polarity going on in there.
Yeah.
Obviously, right?
One of them motherfuckers is definitely evil.
Listen.
He's been evil since we were kids.
What I did say to my client also on this topic, I explained to her that you know when you go into that lion's den what's going to happen. Now you might go and everything might be cool, but don't get comfortable, because if you go in a lion's den, let's just use it as a real example. You go in a lion's den and the lion is full, he ain't gonna give a damn about you being in there. So it's gonna be real cool at the time. However, if that stomach gets to grumbling, you're the nearest thing to him. Oh, you getting chewed on, mauled, something, scratched, you in the way of my food or whatever. Whatever mood it is, it's coming for you. And so, she had a good question, like, well, my one child was like, I'm not going. Period. I'm not going at all. Not going, and stood on principle. Not going. I was like, ooh, I like this child. The other one was more open to going, knowing about the lion's den, but the other one, it was in a full-on decline. Absolutely not going. I said, oh, really? Then there was a decision to reschedule this event. So you already know what happened, right? The feelings, the anxiety, the worry. What do I do? And I said, well, let's look at this from a different perspective, because I was gonna let you go in the lion's den without coaching you. It just so happened that everything kind of worked in the way it did, but I was gonna let you go on in there. But since we had this chance to now revert and look back on what happened, let's talk about the lion's den real quick. Your one child declined. We can learn from our kids, right? Our kids can show us something, right?
Yeah.
She was like, wow, I didn't even think about that. Oh, no, it gets better. So this new date, you going? Oh, no. No, I said, well, instead of just not going, celebrate that one that declined. Why don't y'all two do something and create a date? Do something to that child's standards, standing on principle, standing on understanding his self-love or her self-love should be in the forefront of mindset at all times. Self-love takes practice. We don't come out of the womb just loving self. This is a practice. This is something that is not taught. We have to learn it by what? Osmosis? No, by problem solving.
Yeah.
After a while, some people die going in that damn lion's den. Do you know how many murders happened at a family reunion that they knew they shouldn't have went out there anyway? Because drunks, fights, blowouts, disrespect, all of that. I'm not even talking about physical death. I'm talking about mental death.
It's so amazing to me, because a lot of time is for symbolism. It's for a picture. Right. I can remember my brothers and sisters, 5 of us are still in North Carolina, and my brother Derek is still in New Jersey. And as my mother got older, it was so this thing to say, every event, let's make sure all 6 of my mom's kids are here so we can get a picture with all 6 of the kids. Because as strange as it was rare for us to get a picture
all
for
together,
all 6 of us in
being
it.
in the same spot at the same time.
Yeah, because you got me. I'm more who I am. I'm like, I ain't gonna fake. I ain't showing up for something just because it's Mother's Day. I don't even celebrate holidays. I don't even celebrate Mother's Day with my wife. So I'm not showing up just because it's Mother's Day unless I want to. I'm not coming just to complete your picture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So but when you come to overthinking things, I would talk to my brother and he would say, man, it seemed like I'm the one that ain't in the picture. He overthinking it. And well, you weren't in the picture this year. And it became a thing to where it's like, am I coming only because I don't want to be the one that's not in the picture?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you have these situations where you have these symbolic things in family that you feel like you have to show up for. And if you
Exactly.
don't show up for her, I remember, I had a situation where somebody in my family was dying, and one of my aunts was like, "You think they're gonna make it?" And I was like, I can't tell you if they're gonna die or not. Well, my job and I got this many days off, so I need to save my days off for the actual funeral. These are things people go through
Yeah.
because they're scared and they're overthinking what their family's gonna think. And
Right.
I remember my aunt saying, "Well, I only have a certain amount of time," and then they was like, "Well, I guess I'd rather come see them while they're alive. So can't nobody say I didn't come see them while they're alive." They overthinking things.
Of
So
course.
they
Yes.
came down there, saw them while they was alive. 6 hours after they got on the road to go back home, the person died.
Mm.
Now people calling back, "You coming to the funeral? You gonna make it to the funeral?"
See
And
what
she
I'm
called me like, "Yo, I used all my time, you know." And it was like they stayed down here weeks
saying?
spending time, like literally waiting for this person to die.
Yes.
So in their mind, they could say, "Well, I saw
I
him
was
for the
there.
last time.
Right.
I was
Right.
there and saw him the last time." And,
Right.
and it's just so crazy. And that's a process of overthinking, thinking who gonna say what? Was
Yes.
you here for your cousin's funeral? Was you here for your sister's funeral? Or
Right.
why you ain't come see him while they was in the hospital? This, that, and the other. And it's like, I'm not altering my life for any situation.
Well, traditionalism is usually passed down. There is good and negatives to it. Like I said, if you have toxic family, one of my ex husbands, which is my son's dad, his family loved cookouts, loved parties and family get together, but there was so much toxicity. But when you think back, you're like, well, they were always, there were always moments where it was just great just to have that camaraderie of people just in the same space where they could be in a good state of being.
Mhm.
However, after the alcohol, it goes on to this rapid decline and people start arguing and acting up. Now the joy is sucked right out of it. So, and it doesn't even have to take alcohol. Sometimes it could just be taking up old memories, drumming up
Mhm.
old stuff, bringing up old stuff that doesn't, because there's always that one or two that wants to bring up something to cause
Mhm.
something. You know what I mean?
Or something new in the family. A
Yes,
cousin just got pregnant that they didn't expect to get
right.
pregnant.
That stuff.
And it's like, well, such and such got pregnant, and it's like, well, my daughter ain't had no babies yet, so she's still in school. Well,
Right, right, right.
your daughter she in school, but she up there horn. She ain't might not be pregnant, but she up there horn,
And then
and
you
it's like
see it, and then here we go. Then the fight
it's like
starts.
a tip for tap. It's like
Yes,
such a comparison,
yes.
such a comparison of each other. I remember my grandmother used to compare my aunts. I had aunts that lived up north that would come down, and naturally when they come down once a year or once every 2-3 years, they got some gifts for their mom, some clothes, some money, some. And when you come down and you bring in $2,000-3,000, it's like grandma's hype.
Right,
But then she got two daughters that's living down here with her, that's taking her to dialysis, that's taking her to cancer appointments, that's shooting her diabetes shot in her stomach.
yeah,
And it's like she tend to overlook them. You
right,
know what I'm saying? Overlook the ones that are actually here caring for her physically, the verb care,
right. Yes,
caring, the
yes,
verb
yes,
care. And the ones up north just sending you money, acting like they care, which I'm
right.
not saying they didn't care, but the ones down south were physically caring for you.
But
That's
that's
how it was with my mother. My
yes,
sisters physically cared for my mother. Me and my brothers, we would sit back, we would offer a little help you out financially. But we wasn't going to be the ones down there rolling her over in the bed and taking her here and help wash her and
yes,
stuff like that. So it tends you get to the point where then the family start overthinking who love by what they do and don't do. You know
yes,
what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
I just remember growing up funneling my decisions through like 3 family members. What my grandma gonna think, what this uncle gonna think, what this person gonna think. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Well,
like you're making
was that your range of importance, or was that just your range of understanding?
range of not even range of importance, just range of who gonna say what.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? Sometimes it's just like you're making life decisions based on trying to avoid a motherfucker running their mouth. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're making lifetime decisions because you're afraid that this aunt or this auntie. It's like like I said, most of the time it's like 2 or 3 family members that you care about, what they think, and it may not be because you love them the most. You just know that they gonna badmouth the decision the most and keep that shit going in the family the most.
Yes.
So it's like, well, should I do this? Should I do that? Because I know grandma ain't gonna leave that shit alone. Grandma, everybody that come in the house, you know that boy got married and ain't tell nobody. You know that boy got married and ain't tell nobody. Grandma, they know my wife is sitting right here. They didn't come to a wedding. They know I got married and didn't tell nobody. But everybody come in the house. Yeah, that's Javon's wife right there. You know he got married. He ain't tell nobody. Shut the fuck up.
It's all that gossip. Yes. But that's the toxicity I'm talking about. That is the underbelly of drama that keeps the segregation in the family and keeps people that stand on their own self-loving to say, I'm just not going. My absence will speak volumes. And so how I explained it to my client, well, look at here. Let's look at this for real. Allow your other child to go into that lion's den. Oh my God, well, what's going to happen? I said, you know what's going to happen. Go on and let her go, or let him go and see what happens. Because when you do that, you allow them to get their own data. Us telling our kids everything about what we shouldn't do is not going to be beneficial. Let them head themselves on into the lion's den. Let them get the data. Because we can't always protect our kids from everything and seeing everything when they clearly have the same data you have. And let me explain something also. You do realize your absence speaks volumes. Because you will be the center of conversation.
Yeah.
And if you get to getting talked about too much, that child's coming for them. Then the arguments really are going to escalate because people are, where's your mama? Hey, don't talk about my mama now. I'm telling you. Now the next thing you know, it's a blowout. But that has to happen because if you try to advocate for your own absence, it's going to go left. Because some people don't understand that self-loving sometimes isn't favorable. It looks very different for those always willing to satisfy others first. So when we put ourselves first and say, I'm not going in this lion's den, when clearly I've had enough data, I've had enough experiences, I've had enough ways of understanding and understanding that this ain't working for me, so I'm going to stand on it. And then not overthink it anymore. Just stand on that as a staple from now on, not just in this circumstance.
Yeah, I just noticed I've seen it in my family.
Yes.
I've seen it in my friend's family. Just that matriarch that kind of holds the family together, Big Mama, be the most toxic one. And it's like, is it because she know everybody's business?
Yes.
Is it because everybody come to her for help? You know what I'm saying? It's like she'll let you stay with her to get on your feet.
Right.
But by the time you leave, if she found some porn in your room or if she found some cigarettes in your room, no matter what it is.
Yes.
I remember I used to hate to stay with my with one of my well, she's actually my brother's grandmother.
Oh, okay.
But she treated me like a grandmother.
Okay.
But I know if you staying with my grandma Louise, she gonna go in your room and go through your shit. She want to know what you done bought in her house. She going through your shit. And I remember coming home from college. I don't know what my grandma was thinking. I'm coming home from college. She went through my shit, found some condoms. And she just was like, boy, you got a disease?
Oh,
And I was like, Grandma, what you mean I got a disease? And she pulled them out. These is for when you got a disease. I said, Grandma, these is for when you don't got it. You're trying to avoid
preventing.
getting a
Yes,
disease.
you're
And
trying to.
my grandma was just like, I never forget it. She was just like, no, this is when you got a disease. You had to put this on to keep from giving a person a disease.
Oh Lord.
And I said, Grandma, you never heard of a condom? She was just like, in her era, they didn't exist.
Mm.
So just seeing that, she like, I got a disease. And then told some people in the family, Javon got a disease. Luckily, they understood that was just grandma in her old age. Like, Javon got a disease. I found some condoms in his room. He
Oh
got a disease.
Lord have mercy. And I guess that was her overthinking, or was it
Yeah,
us?
just overthinking, or either just thinking somebody gonna bring something in her house.
Yes, I
Like
guess.
my grandma used to be like, when you come in, she gonna make you take your bags out, shake out all your clothes, because she thought roaches come from the city. So to her, where I moved to was the city. Durham is 50 minutes away, but in her mind, you ain't coming in my house with no suitcase. You're gonna bring roaches or bed bugs.
Oh
And
God.
you ain't gonna leave that iron plugged up either. You know, when you plug the iron up and the lights go dim a little bit, my grandma thought that was killing the electricity. Don't use that iron in here.
But again, this is what I mean by us understanding that family is very interesting, but also we don't sign up for them. But also we need to understand that we can design our family. So what I mean by that is, if you still have social needs, if you still have a familial bond you want to tie up, you can do it. You just have to be more intentional with how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, we can create our own family. I mean, it doesn't have to require that they are bonded by DNA. You can find a person that's just like, like I had a friend for years that was like, a sister for me when my daughter was little. She was an auntie all day, just boiling the crap out of my daughter, and we were just cool. But she will always look out for me and my little one, and so it doesn't always have to mean that. And that's where godparents came in. I don't see it, like I say,
Mm-hmm.
I was raised by old parents, but my
Mm-hmm.
parents were born in the 30s and shit, so I come from an old school way of thinking. Godparents weren't just said we're godparents. They really did guide in trying to assist the raising of the child. And you didn't have to keep checking to see where are they.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Because my
true.
godmother and godfather were, already said. We used to go on trips and stuff, and we just had a very good wholesome set. But now, it's more trendy. Well, yeah, we're godparents. It's like, what does that mean? You
Mm-hmm.
guys
Yeah.
really don't hold tight on really sitting down and looking at what godparents stood for back in the day. We
Yeah, 'cause
really had. We
I
really.
got asked to be
Oh,
godparents a couple of times and I said no. And it was like an attitude. And they was like, well, you don't want to be godparents and you get to come to the church and stand there for the little water Christian and stuff. And I was like, nah. And I was like, it was like, why? Ain't we close? I was like, I ain't got no kids myself. Why would I? They didn't understand. In my mind, a godparent mean if you die, I supposed to take care of your kids.
no, that's not the way they see it now.
That's
That's
how I
old
thought it
school.
was. They
That's
looking
old
at it like
school.
godparent, just buy gifts and be on the fucking picture. But I was like, no, I ain't ready to be nobody's God's parents. But we tight like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm a, I call him my little niece or nephew, but godparent, that's some big shit to me. I got two
From old
goddaughters
school.
though.
We're coming
Yeah,
from an old school perspective. Old school, we did take them on for real. We
yeah,
did co-parent with the parents. That's what godparent meant. So that's not the case anymore. It's more just to say, yeah, I love the baby just like an auntie, even though we don't have a bloodline.
yeah,
So that's how they change the narrative and how we know it to be versus what it is today. Completely different.
yeah. I just know there have been times in my life, decisions that I have made that I overthought what my family would think.
Mm.
And deep down, they really didn't give a damn. It was just a conversation for them. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? When I say a conversation, where I'm going to school at. You see what I'm saying? Why
Yeah.
is he going to school here? Why is he going to school there? It just be situations where our lives end up a conversation for family members. I
Right.
had an aunt that took me in when I was like 14 when my mom put me out. And
She put
every time I go home, my mom would tell me everything that's going on in this aunt's life. And I said, Mama, how are you talking about the aunt that took me in after you put me out? I said, Mama, are you jealous that she took me in? Like, what's going on? But then I thought it was she was jealous, but it wasn't that.
Mm-mm.
Some people highlight of their day is just telling the bad news of people around.
Woo.
There are people in my family that how can I say it? The highlight of their day. It's like when they call you. I had one of my cousins call me. It's like, you heard about your cousin, right? And I was like, what? No, like what? Man, I heard they said he got caught sleeping with his stepdaughter. I'm like, how does that benefit me for you to call me and tell me one of my cousins got caught sleeping with his stepdaughter? What does that do for me?
Right.
That's what I mean when I said toxic.
And
I don't
leads you into the lion's den, and you didn't even ask for any.
had me pissed off the whole day. I'm thinking,
Right. That's what I'm
my
saying.
cousin sleep with his stepdaughter.
So
You know what
now,
I'm saying? I'm wondering, and now I want to call him and ask him, but
yeah,
then I don't want to be like, well, such and such told me. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he gonna say who told you, and I can easily say, man, the whole town talking about this shit.
right. But that's why I was saying that is another great example of how gossip, evil talking, evil negativity feeds the mind, which is again a lion's den. It's not the physical, festivities going on, but it is the damn gossip that causes to pour poison in a peaceful mind. See, I don't watch the news, but if I get in the car of someone that I'm dealing with on a regular basis, I'll have the whole news flash. What's going on with this? What's going on with that? These people are doing this. These people are doing. I'm like, how are you so up to date with all the gossip? I'll never understand that. But I'm not of that cloth. I didn't get. It just irritates the shit out of me because I don't come from that. If I'm going to be, I don't like to waste time, and to me, that's a waste of time. It's a waste of really beautiful energy while we're here. Why are we talking about this? Have you reached out to this person and said, is there anything you need? I know your
Yeah.
reputation is stained. How can we create a different narrative around this person already broken? Obviously, there's some things going on that. Can we be honest about sex for a minute? Because what kind of sexual energy allows you to decide that the very closest person to be intimate with is the person in your house? Now, if we're honest and we get out of the thinking of morality and we look at the sexual needs of men, this is why I say when we continue to discontinue intimacy in our love affairs with our men, they end up having sexual urges that are not taken care of. This is why I talk about men, y'all got to know your sexual truth. When you know for a fact that you have needs to be met, you have got to let it be known.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm in a messed up situation here. And regardless of how people may take it or feel, you may need to speak to someone, coaches or therapist, about what you're going through, and then start to strategically plan for how you're going to get some buns, how you're going to get some action, how you're going to be able to relieve yourself. Because after a while, I don't give a damn who you are as a man or who you are as a woman. Your sexual urges are going to leave a whole stain on your reputation and everything
Mm-hmm.
else, because all you see is that I got this need and it's not being met.
Yeah, my cousin is known. He's got a great reputation of being just a great guy. And it's almost like a scandal within the town because it's like, what? He
Well,
slept with his
again, but
stepdaughter
having
and
that
she's younger. She's like 16. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know if it's true. You know, nobody really believes it, but hey, you don't know what to believe, but it's just
is
a
he
talk.
married?
And I'm just like, why did I need to know that? I'm not yet. He's married. That's what I mean.
Okay. So now, again, we're just going down the route because you know me, you know I'm a coach, so you know we're gonna go down this route.
yeah.
Okay, so if we go down the route, is this wife really his wife or is she a roommate? There's
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
husbands out here being sexually deprived or sexually not being taken care of, or there's a lot of men that have sexual needs that they're not letting their wife know about also. So this is not just on him. It could be on her as well. But are you discussing your sexual needs with your lover? Because a
yeah,
lot of times we're not. So guess what happens? Supplementation is going to happen. Supplementation isn't always about cheating. I know cheating is a common word, but I talk about
hmm
sexual supplementation. You're supplementing what you're lacking.
yeah. Yes, it's amazing, man, because I'm the one that's kind of, how can I say this? People like my advice.
Of
People
course.
like, yeah, people like my advice, and my family like my advice.
Right.
But I kind of keep myself closed off from negativity because I don't want to hear it. I just don't want to hear it. I got a cousin that's going through something with his back,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, they was like, you got to have surgery on this pinched nerve on your back. And he was asking me what I thought. I said, man, get the surgery. You know what I'm saying? You trust the doctors for everything else, and ain't like you some Dr. Sebi motherfucker. You been trusting doctors. He was like, nah. Somebody we know in the town had the same surgery and they end up paralyzed. I said, well, they ain't you. You know what I'm saying? They ain't you. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Don't judge their life by your life. So long story short, they're not gonna get the surgery. So you
Okay.
asked me what I thought you should do. I told you I thought you should get the surgery.
Okay.
You didn't get the surgery.
Okay.
But as an alternative to getting the surgery, you got 36 like chiropractic appointments. This chiropractor telling you he can get you right, but it's gonna take 36 back crackings or whatever.
Okay.
So he calling around, and his wife is at work, and he
Mm-hmm.
calling all his cousins up. Who can get me to these back crackings? I said, man, I'll take you to a few. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't really trying to fuck with that shit like that because I told you I think you should get the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I go through all these fucking back crackings? So long story short, I took the nigga to like 6 of the back crackings. And after he got his back cracked 36 times, he still got to have a fucking surgery.
Okay.
So you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When he called me, instead of just saying, hey, man, I'm going to go ahead and get the surgery, it's, man, I'm doomed. Every time I call him, I try to call him for support. And he's so negative, man. I'm going to be paralyzed. My kid's this and my kid's that. And I just like, hey, man, hit me back when you get yourself together, man. And that a word then got around because we was tight. Javon abandoning his cousin. And I'm like, well, I took you to 6 of the motherfucking 36 appointments. Don't that count for something? Because I don't want to hear you say you doomed and how you going to be paralyzed. And I don't want to hear that. And I be trying to tell him, man, why don't you just think positive about the situation? And almost he got mad at me because I was like, you going to be all right. Man, such and such, you going to be all right. And he was like, I ain't going to be all right. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, fuck it. You ain't going to be all right. I said, look, man, we going to rap after the surgery, man. Like, and it's a situation where I be overthinking certain shit because I'm already the black sheep in the family. You know what that means when they say the black sheep of the family. I'm already the black sheep.
Right.
So it's like wearing that title, you got to kind of have tough skin. But then it's like wearing that title, You get blamed for shit that you didn't even do.
You
Or
weren't
shit
even
you
there.
don't
You weren't even there, but it was Javon.
yeah, you shit that you don't even have nothing. You don't even know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Why you talk your brother into quitting his job? What? I talked to a man that's 10 years older than me to quitting his job. How did I do that?
Well, now about the one that had the chiropractic services done to his back. I don't necessarily disagree that he had a pinched nerve. But what I would have told him is that how many opinions did you get? Because the truth of the matter is when we have these different surgeries and we do open the body up, we do have a chance of messing up the body.
Mm-hmm.
There are ways to heal the body without having invasive surgeries. I would have suggested to him to get a second opinion. Don't go to the same type of facility that you went to before, because if he's really adamant about the surgery, it may be something in him saying to himself, what's another alternative?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do energy body work.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be a healing he could have and do. However, what I would suggest is he get a second opinion, because if you went 36 times to this chiropractor and you still didn't get, the nerve is still pinched, there could be different variations of something else that you can get done where they're not invasive. You may be able to do acupressure or acupuncture or body work or sound therapy. There's all kinds of different things to do, but you also have to realize that sometimes while we're dealing with something that's an ailment, a lot of times we have to also look at the mindset. So, for instance, I have a client that's 92 years old. Beast. This man ain't going to sleep. Told me I'm in control of this body. I said, okay. And matter of fact, he had a session today. And we were just talking about it. He had a whole knee replacement. I'm talking about his knee was shattered in I don't know how many different ways. We're talking about he had a whole knee replacement.
Yeah.
This man was up and walking around within 3 days. So it really starts here. If his mind is telling him this, he may want to go and get a second opinion. Because for me, I even told one of my very closest friends, she had breast cancer. I said, go get a second opinion and don't listen to just the first opinion. Sometimes you need to go to the top of the line and go get checked.
Yeah.
Don't just take everything as Bible. This is your body. I know of another client, she got a hysterectomy and all of her stuff is gone and it was not warranted necessary. She is hurt. She left the city. I mean, she flew and her spouse left to Florida. I mean, just doomed because someone said, well, you're having all of those problems, so we need to just take everything out of you.
Yeah.
And she went with it. No, you have to sometimes get that second opinion.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I just sometimes think as we look at our family, I have a unique situation in my family because my family got land and everybody live on the same land.
Okay.
So it's like you see everybody and it's kind of like a thing where when everybody retire, they move back home. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like you got this closeness, but then you got this motherfuckers in your business.
Oh, okay.
Like everybody live, you know what I'm saying? And it's like you got it's a beautiful thing to watch because I watched my little sister become the matriarch.
Okay.
And you watch your little cousins. You see who the kids flock to, and the kids really, really tell the true story.
They do.
You know what I'm saying? Of where all the kids feel loved and welcomed at.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Yes. And all the kids feel loved and welcomed at my sister's house.
Okay.
But then her son don't feel loved and welcomed at her house. You know what I'm saying? So wow. It just be like it's like your kids love your brothers and sisters, and your brothers and sisters kids love you. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to explain. It's like the auntie, like that's the dynamic with me and my brothers. His daughters, he like, man, call and talk to your niece. They'll listen to you before they listen to me.
That's
You know
true.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And it's like,
because you're fatherly, but you're not dad.
yeah.
So it kind of
And they look at my internet personality. They younger. They think they dad is just old and don't know nothing and blah blah
right.
blah and da 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 and
Well, and we're more up to date. We're more current. Like a lot
yeah,
of young people, will vibe with me. I've had that since my daughter was young. A lot of kids. My mom, my daughter. I'm just mom to her, but to all her girlfriends. Oh, that's a mom. And they just love. I just love your mom. She's like, I know everybody loves my mom. Whatever. But it's like they're relatable to me because I never left the younger version of who I am.
yeah,
Yes, I'm grown. Yes, I always tell my daughter clients is what I call them. My younger girls that I'm younger women. They're young women, but they're
yeah.
daughters of my clients. I call them my daughter clients. And with them, I have a tendency to be like, look, I love your mom. I'm a mom, but you don't get confused. I'm also a daughter too. So I come to their level. Like, no, I get it. And what we got going on and what we're talking about is between us. So at the end of the day, there's no breach of contract. If you want to talk about some things that you would like to see better, we can have a conversation. Again, these are the kinds of things that needs to happen, but these are why younger people will be relatable to us because we have that vibe where we didn't lose our younger self just because we aged. We
Let me
still
ask you
got our
something.
flair.
What's the ultimate advice? Like we say, purpose,
Right.
finding your purpose to solve a lot of shit.
Yes.
What's the ultimate advice, bottom line advice that you give a person that's overthinking thing because of their family and they just can't get out of it? What do you tell them? Because it's going to be hard for a person to not consider their family or a family member. What do you tell, like the lady? Okay, you said that her one of her kids say they not going,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes she could just be leaning on her kid's strength to not go. What
Yeah.
do you tell the ultimate person? Like, I mean, naturally, the natural thing is, hey, you got to live for yourself, blah, 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 blah. But what do you tell that person that cannot get over what they mom think or what they aunt think or what they grandma? What do you tell that person? How do they live their life and get past that worrying about those relatives?
What I always try to explain to them is it takes time to really prioritize self-love. And I will let them know from the jump, you are self-love deficient. Then their comeback is usually, I do love myself. That's always their comeback. I do love myself. I know you love yourself, but you're self-love deficient. It takes a practice to love self. When you prioritize loving yourself, you will lessen your chance of people pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
People pleasing is even more strenuous when it comes to bio loyalty. So I start baby stepping them away from people pleasing. And in order for me to create that understanding, I have to then tell them if they weren't in your family, would this be someone you would hang with?
Yeah, because like I say, the reason I ask,
association is from family. But
yeah,
if there was no association to family, would this be someone you
you
would hang
probably
with?
been and cut that motherfucker off. That's why I asked you ultimately for the people that's watching that
Mhm.
ultimate. So, like I said, I figured that's what it was. Just you got to care about yourself and love yourself more than you care about what a person thinks about you.
Yes.
And that can be so hard at times because a lot of the times we live in our life for the approval and of our family.
Yes.
You know, like you got the aunt that got the most money, or the uncle that got the most money, or
Mm-hmm.
this is the aunt that everybody can go talk to, and you become who you are through what your family identifies you as.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like I just said I'm the black sheep. That's because they call me the black sheep, but I don't feel like that. I don't disapprove nobody. And
No.
then it's like, okay, I'm called the black sheep, but everybody call me to talk. So am I really the black sheep? You know what
Well,
I'm saying? What does black sheep mean? Do that mean the one that live on his own and think for himself? Because I'm the black sheep to everybody, but everybody will call me when they got an issue and something they need to talk about, and knowing I ain't gonna tell what they got going on, but I'm the fucking black sheep.
but you know what that means, right?
What does that mean?
They're telling other people not to get close to you because they know of your higher value in the family.
Or scared I'm gonna tell they shit.
No, no, no. That it has nothing to do with that.
Oh, okay.
They see you as the highest valued person. You have the biggest influence by your advisory. Just you're exquisite with advice.
Yeah.
Right. So
Wow.
that means you have a different layer of power and a different layer of influence. And when you don't speak, that speaks volumes. So sometimes it's what you don't say. Sometimes it's when you don't show up. Sometimes it's how you handle or walk away from scenarios that makes them very uneasy. So now they're trying to craft around what you think, how you think, what you say, because that is what is so influential. They want to mark you as a marked man so that no one else loves you for real.
Because they don't want the family to
No,
see my value.
no.
Yeah, it's crazy because I remember when my uncle passed and me and my wife was fasting and nobody knew about it. And the Bible said, don't tell when you're fasting. We ain't these Bible thumpers, but
Right.
I try to live, and I wasn't drinking.
Okay.
So it was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
everybody seemed like they couldn't have a good time just because I won't drinking.
You know why, right?
And it was just like everybody trying to peer pressure me into drinking.
Of course.
I had told my wife, I said, we gonna leave early because people gonna be like, and it was like they thinking I didn't quit drinking. Oh, he didn't quit drinking, he brand new. And it was just we was fasting, trying to get some weight off, starting a fast to say we're gonna fast this week.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we ain't doing no drinking to reset our bodies. And it just so happened his funeral came on that time. And it's like, soon as Javon ain't drinking, everybody come to the house. Javon ain't drinking. He brand new. He gonna stop drinking. Oh, that nigga ain't gonna stop drinking. And I'm just like, I don't even want to say, hey, look, I'm just not drinking because I'm on the fast, man.
Right.
I'm probably gonna drink next week. It just was.
I
It
promise
was
you.
so over fucking whelming.
I know, but that's what I'm telling you. I just got done explaining and expressing why that is, because you have a high value in your family that they really envy a lot. And not to mention the envy, but also the jealousy. So when you have a value like that, you will become the black sheep, or you'll become the marked man in the family, because everybody just loves him. Everybody just loves Javon. Low key, they're not gonna say that around you, but behind closed doors, everybody loves him. Everybody just thinks he's all that. He's not. All those conversations.
Yeah,
that
and
go
it's such a double-edged sword because I be feeling like, why y'all keep calling me the black sheep? I'm the most popular one that everybody loves. If I ain't there, the party ain't the same. Like, why y'all keep calling me the black sheep? And I think some of it has to do with this internet shit. You know what I'm saying? My family watching me on the internet and everybody internalizing shit.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? One of my family members, I ain't gonna say nothing. I was with my older brother and he was like, saying something. And it was my older brother was telling me, he was like, yeah, such and such. And we was all together and they was like, man, I didn't know Javon was so nice. And it's like, what you mean? He speaks to everybody, has conversations and da-da-da-da. And my brother was was like, man, you judging about the internet because this nigga's
Oh, that's right.
overly speaks to people. Like
Right.
when I'm somewhere, hey, how you doing, ma'am? How you doing? I'm opening doors.
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
holding the door for 10 people. And he was like, I ain't know Javon was so nice, man. He was like, man, stop judging the internet. He just talking on the internet. Like, golly, like you didn't know I was nice.
No, and they don't, but they do know to a degree because they want to mark you as the black sheep.
Yeah. That black sheep, hell, I think it's a good thing because I be feeling like, well, they ain't expecting me to show up. I ain't gotta go to this
Well,
bullshit.
and like I told you, when you don't show up, that speaks volumes because they want to share the narrative of why you're not there. So
Yeah.
that's a whole nother artistry, a whole nother rehearsal. They're having a whole lot of conversation around something, and you're not there to even support it or deny it.
Mm. Well, y'all know what time it is. It's 9 o'clock. This is the wrap up of another show, man. I want to take you out. I'm going to let Miss Carla take us out with the word of the day. But I just want to say from me, please, please, please don't let your family drive you crazy. Everything is relative. I have friends that do more for me than family. I have associates from college that I'm concerned about more. Just don't overthink things when it comes to your family, because at the end of the day, they still gonna be your motherfucking cousin whether they like you or not. They can't unfamily. They can't excommunicate you from the family.
They can, but it doesn't matter. You're still bio
Yeah,
connected.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But no, for the ending and conclusion, listen, just make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you share the video. Don't forget to join our Patreon, Ranting and Raving podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel right here. We love you. We love all of you here. Thank you for showing up. We'll see you next Wednesday.
And tomorrow, check out my co-host Trab, Hero Training on Facebook, 9:30. Peace.